Hi, welcome to Claudia's Creations. I'm Claudia, and today I'm going to be part of a collaboration, the Homie Nomies with Simply Blessed. Okay, and we're going to be doing DIY's gnome theme. And here I'm going to start with a dowel rod, okay, that I cut, and I'm going to be covering it with foam, as you see there, foam clay. And I'm going to be making a beer mug. You know me, I'm extra. I like to make all my little preps, okay? Um, Sometimes I'll buy some stuff, some accessories, but I like to make my own. And here I'm going to make a beer mug. And so I cover everything with the foam clay. And I do the perforation lines, as you see. And then after that, I roll that little bit that I had left there and I cut it and I do a little handle, put that on. And with this foam clay, as soon as you touch it, it's done. Okay, you touch foam clay with foam clay, it attaches and it don't come apart. All right, and then I prime coat it with white and chalk paint. I always prime all my items with that. You'll see me do that often. Then I take the white sock and I cut that and I fill that up with sand and fiberfill and tie it at the end with a rubber band. After I put the fiberfill, I put like 50-50. There, I tied it with the rubber band. Then I'm going to take some jute twine, wrap it around. I got that idea from Tiffany. I seen her do that. And that's a good idea because those rubber bands do dry rot, or the heat from your glue gun can snap it, if you get too close with it. So that's good. There I take those beads and I take the sun-kissed peach. And that's a nice color for skin color. I use it a lot, okay, in my crafts for skin color. So I do the little half beads, the bead for the nose, and half of the styrofoam ball for the face, just in case if you could see any part of his face. I do that, and then I set that to the side. And I'm sorry, I'm speeding up this video a lot. If there's any questions you have of anything that I do, I will, answer any questions. Just put it in the comments below. There, I'm using a rub-on transfer that I got from Amazon. And it adheres nice. I had absolutely no problems. And this was from the Love Letters collection. Okay, and it came out so pretty. So I put that on there, and then I clear coat it later with Rust-Oleum twice clear coat. All right, and here I'm using washcloth, a dishcloth. Okay, not an actual washcloth, because I needed it to be stiff because the washcloth was too soft and it kept falling apart and sliding a lot on me. Even this did a little bit, but it wasn't as bad. And I just folded it over once, and then I folded over again and glue it, then twist it and tuck it in the back of his neck. And see, and then I glue it down, and then I'm gonna tuck it into the back of his neck, and then I put glue in there to hold it, and it holds really nice then. Okay, so it looks like he has a towel wrapped around his head. Yep. And then I place the body in the bathtub. Now you see, I've showed you there that the arms are going to be wired and how they were going to be set up. So here I'm taking the arms, and that was 3 inches wide and 5.5 inches long. And the wire was under that by like a 1/2 inch. Okay, and then all I do is just wrap it in glue and roll it, and cut off the ends right before the wire. Okay, you see that? It was like 1/8 of an inch on both sides. And then there I'm showing how I'm going to be placing everything. So I place the one arm, then I place the other arm. And you'll see the wrist part of it here, but in the final reveal, you'll see that you don't see none of that because what I'm going to be doing with this, okay? So, because it gets covered pretty much. And there I glue the head. And that was that. And I glue the head to the bathtub too, so he doesn't slide him around. There, I just did a heart shape. I cut the white fur in a shape of a heart and I trim it down a little bit more. You see how it's shorter now, and you see how the bathtub has fiber fill. Okay, so I put fiber fill to fill the rest of that tub. Now I'm taking the beer mug and I'm painting it yellow gold. Okay, and I paint it all around. And then after I paint it, I take puff paint, glitter puff paint in white, and I just do it all the top so it looks like foam. And I want it to look like shiny and stand out. And then I take gold and I just highlight where I perforated the mug. Then I take them beads from Dollar Tree. This was a mission. I burned myself like 1,000 times. Yep, and I filled up the bottom of the tub, okay, because I needed it for, it would have been like too big for a bubble, but I needed the reflection of water underneath, okay. And you see the beads that I use? Those are the iridescent beads that I use. I got them at Hobby Lobby, and I put them all over. And when I tell you I put them all over the tub, I put them all over the tub, their arms, the back of his neck, everywhere. And you'll see that in the final reveal. I don't reveal the whole thing to you right now because this video took me 2.5 hours to record. Okay, this whole video, and I had to cut it down, and I cut a lot of parts out. Here is the platform. I took antique white and I just brush painted it because I dry brushed it a little bit because I wanted to see the wood grain still, and then I dry brush it with black too. I don't know if I show you that. I think I do. But I dry brush, no I don't. I'm sorry about that. But I dry brush it with black, and then I take this fabric that I got from Dollar Tree. It's like a velvety kind of furry material, and the tacky glue goes right through it, but it dries clear so you don't see it at the end, okay? And that's all I glued that. So let's get on with DIY number 2. This one was a mission. Oh my goodness. There I'm showing you the stuff that I'm be using. I already had pre-painted everything, and I'm going to be using this Sunkissed Peach. Okay, that's what I used again for all of that. Now we're going to start with the prep, my little accessories. I always do them first. And here we're going to be doing an ice cream cone. And we used less than that amount of clay that I had there. Okay. And I used that bead. That bead is one of the hands. Okay. And I measure it. You're going to see me measuring the cone to the bead. So the ice cream cone isn't so big. Okay. Then I do the perforation lines for the ice cream cone, and I do them in a diamond shape. Oh, and so I don't keep putting fingerprints on it because you touch it and it marks your fingerprints. So I put it in one of those shish kebab sticks, and then you see they look like little diamond shape. I show you it. Oh, it wasn't a good view, but you do see it at the final reveal. Like I show it up close. I show everything really nice. And then that's how it looks. Okay. And then I'll set that to the side to dry. And then I take 2 balls. I make one bigger than the other. Okay. And that's going to be my ice cream scoops. Okay. And I take another little piece and flatten it out. And that's going to be like the melting part of the ice cream. And I add it to the bottom. And it sticks right away. Because like I said, foam clay, when you touch it, it's over. It's there. It's permanent. You know, the only way to get it off is that you either add it on or pull it off and start over again. All right, and I do the same thing there. And I love making things with that foam clay because it's so easy to work with and it dries so fast. And then I prep paint it with chalk paint, and I do the ice cream and the ice cream cone. I don't show me prepping the ice cream cone, but I do the ice cream cone too. And then I'll set that to the side to dry while we go on with the rest of the project. I was painting a little ball. I was going to use that as a cherry, but then it was too big. All right, then I took these little shoes. I got this idea from Tiffany too. I've been stealing all these little ideas from Tiffany. Tiffany, thank you. All right, and I take this white paint and I take the white chalk paint and I prime it because it's going to be a girl gnome. So the blue shoes don't work. I wanted them pink. So I primed them with the white chalk paint. So when I use the pink acrylic paint, it goes on nicely. So there you are. The bottoms are done. And then later on, you'll see me when I do it again. Now, I wanted to show you the hair that I'm going to be using. And the socks, the flowers, the laces, that's all the stuff that I'm going to be using, okay? And the material and fiberfill. All right, so I took the sock, cut it right at the heel. And then I roll it down, fill it up with sand. And I fill it up really like halfway, okay? Maybe a little bit more than halfway because I needed it to be really stiff so it would sit upright really good, okay? And then I fill with fiber fill. And there I'm explaining to you that I needed it to be stiff. What I was just saying, I was explaining. I don't know. I be talking to myself when I'm recording. It's so funny. And then all the background noise, I can't even use it. All right, so there I take a rubber band, wrap it, tie it with twine like I did the other one, and clip off the excess, and it's nice and stiff and hard. And then we're going to do the dress part. There I take the fabric, and it's 3 inches wide and 19.5 inches long. And I take, I use fishing wire because I like it's the plastic and it's rubbery and it works really good with crafts like this. Okay, I make a knot and then I sew it with a straight stitch. I don't do nothing fancy because what I want to do is I'm going to create like a ruffle. So I'm just doing a straight stitch and then I pull it and it ruffles it, okay? And I'm going to do that all the way down. And then I'm going to take and fix all the ruffles so it's nice and even all around. And then I tack it to the back of the dress. And then I tack it to the body, okay? And then I put my needle through the body and come out through another end, so the excess thread is inside the body so you can't find it, okay, or see it. And there I tack it in the front and the sides so it doesn't slide off. I had a lot of problems with that glue gun. It said bye. This was the last project it did. It's gone. It was leaking. It burned me. It didn't want to work. I had to force it to work. There I'm gluing on the other lace on the bottom that has a little bit of white satin to it. Okay. And I added that to the bottom. You would swear that I was making a bride. If this dress was all white, I was making a bride. That's what she looked like to me. I don't know. Well, there I take the arms, and that is 5.5 by 3. And I just fold it over and make like a tunnel. And I take the ends and I snip the ends, okay? So when I push the cotton through, I'm going to push the cotton all the way to just before that. Okay, and here you see that I put 2 cotton balls in. Okay, 1, and that goes 2. And I'm going to show you how far I go. See right there? And then I glue that and fold what I had clipped, okay? And then I seal it really good and burn myself to death. Yep. I burn my fingers really good. And then I take the metal wire and stick it in there. And there it was coming apart a little bit. And then I stuff the rest all the way to the top. But I leave like 1/8 of an inch, maybe, if that. Okay. And I just, when I glue the end, I glue it flat now. You see that? And I take it and I'll flatten it out. See, I flattened that out. Then I fold it. And then here's where my glue gun started acting up. You see how it didn't want to glue? It didn't. I had to push the glue. This is where I burned myself. I burned my hand. It would either flow out a lot of glue all on its own, or it wouldn't come out at all. And I had a lot of problems. See, it just didn't. So what I did was I just glued the head on off camera, and you'll see all the glue. And so, but you're not going to see it later because of her hair. Okay, but you see how it seeped and everything? I mean, it was bad. So what I did was I took the lace and put it all around her neckline. And I pleated it. You'll see it in here in a couple seconds. I changed the view on here so you can see better when I pleat it. And I do that. There you go. And I take it and put the glue and then pleat it. And then I just do that all the way around. I don't show you me doing this because I had a lot of problems with that glue gun. See, look, it didn't want to, the glue did not want to come out. I was showing you that it was not coming out. So what I did was I just did the whole thing off camera, all right? There. And there it's done. And there I glued the hands with the holes facing upwards because she's going to be holding stuff. And don't worry, you're not going to see the wrist line. See, I was seeing that if you're going to be able to see it, and you won't. All right, so then I painted and here I'm doing all the prep work now. I am painting the rest of the shoe white. And then setting that to the side. And let that dry. Then I take the ice cream cone and I paint it with hazelnut. And I don't paint the top part because you don't need to, because the ice cream cone is going to go on there. Then I take puff paint with a little bit of glitter so the ice cream would pop and look cute. So I put it all over the ice cream. It looks so cute. I mean, so cute. Yeah, let's see. Oh, and then I drop it, and then I had to pick it up and fix it again. I mean, I had a lot of problems. I was so upset about that work of my glue gun. It's really, really old, but I liked it, that glue gun. Or I have other glue guns, but they're with the real skinny sticks, and I just don't like them, and I can't work with them. They take too long, and the glue comes out yellow, and yeah, I just don't like it. And there I put some puff paint all around the cone, and then I get the little booties out and I do the cameo pink and I paint them. And then after I paint them, I go down, I take them outside and paint them with the Brazilian 2-time clear coat. Yeah, and then here, this is for the bonnet. Um, they're 2 3/4 of an inch. I should have made them a little bit bigger, but I didn't. And I did 2 of them because you can see through. And then I take the lace and I ruffle that up all the way around. There you go. And then I take the bonnet. Oh, and I told you that I made her a bracelet out of bling. And I put her nose on. And see, I was showing you that the hat might be a little bit small, but we'll work with it. There, I take the hair. Now I'm going to start working with this hair. Oh, my God. When I worked with this hair, there was hair everywhere, by the way. Like, I kept finding hair everywhere. So, I took it and I started on the back and put a little line of glue. Took it, hold it, because it came off at first. I had to hold it for a little bit. Then kept putting the glue, would hold it, burn myself. Yep. My fingers were throbbing that night. Even with the thumb, you put the finger protectors and you end up using your other fingers. You know, I don't know if it's just me who does that, but I'll put it on my pointer finger and then I'll use my middle finger. I'm so weird. There, I take that and I cut it right there. And then I'm going to cut the hair. I do not waste. You see, I put it to the side. When I cut it, I put it to the side because I'm going to put that on the top part of the hair. And you'll see me do that in a few minutes here after I finish cutting her hair a little bit. And I'm going to cut it again because it's still too long. And then I fold it there and just glue it on. And I'm not going to show you that whole hot mess that I go through with the glue gun. Yeah, that glue gun was a hot mess. And you could tell right there. I put some fiberfill. Put that on the top, put the bonnet on the top so it's a little puffy, and glue that down in the front and in the back, and then I glue it down on the sides. I don't show you all that because I fight with the glue gun really bad. And then I take the front of the hair, I part it, and I braid 2 braids in the front. And I don't go all the way down. I leave some of the curls and I cut it off. And there you go. And I just tuck that away, cut some more of the hair. And then I take some pink, really, really thin ribbon and wrap that around the bonnet to help it. There I go. I cross it in the back, add some glue. Yeah, click the ribbon and put some flowers on it. See, I'm having problems. The glue just wouldn't come out. So I had a lot of problems. So I might end up changing this a little bit and fixing it later. I add the flowers and that part is done. Now I did the legs. I did them exactly like the arms. That's why I didn't show it again. It's the same thing. And then I take and add 2 little pink bows and some little rhinestones and little diamond rhinestones and put them in the shoes. And then you'll see that I grabbed the lace and I put it on there, but the boots were so big that you couldn't see them. So when you see her, I'm gonna do a second part to this to her. okay, where I do some accessories for her. I don't show on this video because it takes so long, and it's going to be in the what would you make challenge, okay, because it's made out of wood and it's so cute. And yeah, so you'll see that in that video. So this is a part 2 to this video. There you see me adding the ice cream cone, putting puff paint, making the flowers, and then I'm sorry that this is so fast. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know on the comments below. I'll gladly help you in any way possible that I can. And there you go. I clipped it and put it in, and you'll see her better in the final reveal. DIY number 3. Here, this one's quick and easy. I take this wood frame that I got at Dollar Tree, take it all apart, take everything out, even the glass, and I don't use the glass. I take and I measure the inside to make sure that it is 8 by 10, and it is. I take those 3 paints, hazelnut, that parfait pink, and the peach color, and I mix it and it comes out to that pink, and it's so beautiful. So we're gonna call it Gladdy Pink. Gladdy Pink. And we take silver, and I dry brush it because everything in my room is iridescent silver, pink, and black in my bedroom. Okay, whatever's not iridescent is silver. Okay, and there I mess up a little bit. You see where it says backwards? It got wet a little bit, but then I take a white paintbrush right there and I fix it, doctor it up, and then I go and I emphasize under a couple of the words with the antique wax and stuff, and all around the edges. And I'm sorry if you get offended, but I'm a little sarcastic sometimes, especially when I don't have coffee. I can be mean. I don't want to talk or anything until I wake up. I wake up a little moody and stuff. I love to sleep and I can't. I have so many problems with sleep and stuff. So, yep, until I have that coffee, don't bother me. All right, now I take this, and since I couldn't prep it when I printed it out, I will put Mod Podge on the back of it so it doesn't bleed onto itself. And then I go and, sorry about my hair there, I glue it on and iron it on to some poster paper that I cut 8 by 10 perfectly. And there I do the sign part, glue that on. And I cut that out with one of those design scissors that when you cut, it cuts out designs so it's puffy like that. Then I take some fur and I cut out some pieces to put it on the pom-pom and fluff that out, fluff it up. I'm so extra sometimes. Oh, I just love it. And then I'm such a girl. Such a girly girl. And so I take the fur and put it on the pom-pom, and I put it on the slippers. There she is. Oh my God, she's so cute. I love this picture. I'm in love with this picture. I've been staring at it. It's so cute. It came out perfect. All right, so I trim it and put it on. Then I have a pink bow. I was going to put it on the slippers, but then I was like, no, Clarissa, that's too extra. So I take the pink bow and I put it, I was trying to decide whether to put it on the bottom or put it on the top, and I end up putting it on the top. I put it there, and then I add it to the frame, and voila, it is done. I put it all together. And now we're going to head into our final reveal, and you'll be able to see everything better there. All right, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. There, look at how cute. He's so adorable. I love it. I put a bubble on his nose. And then there's the ice cream and the flowers, and there's my gnome. And I wanted to let you know that I joined Buy Me a Coffee. I have a subscription. It helps my channel because I'm like really low income, and any donation is appreciated. Okay, so I subscribe to that. I also have my Cash App there, and as soon as I could afford to get a post office box, I'll get that. And we could do the goodie mail too. Okay, so I want to thank you so much for joining me. And remember, look out for the what would you make collaboration, because the part 2 for the girl gnome is going to be on there. And check out Tiffany, she is awesome. And check out that playlist, there's going to be a couple other creators on there that are joining us. And I want to thank you once again. I love you guys. I wouldn't be Gladys Creations if it wasn't for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you really enjoyed. Love you guys. Like, share, and comment, and also subscribe, okay? Because sharing is caring. All right? Gladys Creations, part 2. Loves you. Have a great day.